This is why you're not improving your communication skills. This is the title of the video, and it may be just applying to me, but if this can help you guys out too, then that's fabulous. So, kind of a little backstory about me. In my life, I've been somebody who has struggled from a stammer for a long time. It started when I was very young. Now, a stammer is something where, for example, I'm trying to say the word from, and instead of just saying it from, just like that, I go from. So this was something that was throughout my whole speech, on various words in various conversations, depending on the situation and stuff. This was something that really made me unconfident when it came to socializing. And I was always fearful of this coming out and people seeing this thing happening with my speech and my words. And so it really held me back from socializing. I was scared to get myself out there into the sort of social circles and to speak to new people and stuff like that. And even to the point where I would kind of give up on what the words I actually wanted to say were, and I would then replace them for words which I thought I could get out easier. And so for example, or if I wanted to have a conversation about a certain thing and I felt like it wasn't going to go very well, I would just abandon it, and I would just be like, okay, I'm just not going to do it. Now that was the worst thing I could have done, and I realized that, and so I stopped doing that, in the last few years, and especially this year, I got myself out there intentionally, time and time again, knowing that, if I carry on taking these actions, it's got me to this place where I'm scared of these things. So if I carry on doing the same things, it's not going to improve. I'm just going to be stuck at where I am. Still, I'm not going to get to the person I want to be. And I realized I needed to take the action of the person I wanted to become. Whenever I was given two decisions, there was two choices, always take the one which leads me closer to that dream version of myself, that person that I'm becoming, and closer to my goals. And that was a big switch in me. Now, this year, my social skills, my communication skills has been better than ever before. I've only been getting better and better and better every year, but this year has been absolutely through the roof compared to every other year or time in my life. And it was through deliberate putting myself into those situations that I was scared of. And I started this by going on an app called Omegle. Now, going on this for my body, you'd be surprised. It felt like I was about to enter a fight. I was in fight or flight mode whenever I was about to go onto this app. So I knew this was the thing I needed to work on to start off. Speaking to strangers, speaking to people in the real world, that was a bit of a bigger step. So I knew talking to people on a little rectangle screen, if this is making me this scared, this is the thing I need to start off with. So when I started my 75 hard journey, I slid in there 10 minutes of Omegle every single day. So that was what really kind of jump started my journey this year, and that was in January that started that. So right at the start of the year. And so I'd be about to go on these calls, and my heart would be beating fast. I'd be nervous. I'd be overthinking, and I just knew that taught me a valuable lesson of just clicking go and just starting off with the first person and just actually doing it was what actually solved most of the problems. That feeling, that anxiety, those doubts in your mind, it's always about 10 times as bad as it actually is. And when you actually take the leap, you're like, oh, this isn't actually that bad. And what I actually started doing, just to get myself over that first sort of few minutes of like crazy body and mind fuck you sort of things that was happening because it was scared, I would just do stupid things to the first few people I spoke to, just like do stupid noises, stupid faces, to just get my ego out of the window, just to make myself look stupid, so that it allowed me to care less, allowed me to get my foot in the door to then having conversations. So yeah, for a few minutes I'd just be like, I just doing the stupidest things to these strangers, and I knew there was always an option that I can skip and stuff, but I didn't really skip. I just let them just skip when they were like, this is ridiculous. And then you know, I started to have some lovely conversations as time went on, better and better conversations, and I also started to notice how much impact the other person was having on me and my self-esteem in the conversation as I was doing it. Now, why am I saying all this? I'm saying all this right now because I just received a message of a friend of mine that I spent some time with when I was on the Disc Golf Pro Tour. If you don't know what disc golf is, it's a sport a bit like golf but with a frisbee. And basically this year I got to travel all around Europe competing in the biggest events in this sport, and that allowed me to, as I was traveling, speak to so many different people, so many new people, all the time. So like unlimited opportunities of socializing and practicing my communication skills. It was the best thing. It was the best thing for my practice. And I'm mentioning this now because it's important to realize, for any of you guys who are going through the same journey of practicing your communication skills, of getting better, and you are noticing that you are getting better, it's important to update your mentality towards it. Because even now after doing all of that, you know, literally having hundreds and hundreds of conversations with literal strangers, people that I do not know, I would just go up to somebody who I was curious about and just start a conversation. You know, you could start with a compliment, start with asking directions, any way to get yourself in the door, just to find a bit about them, find a little bit about them, or just to practice your skills and just speak to them. So doing all of that, and even now, I've caught myself today, yesterday, last week really doubting myself, doubting my communication skills. And I received this message off my friend, and he literally invited me to be a coach alongside him, to coach the sport that I play alongside him in this program, because he complimented me. He said, you know, because of your great communication skills and your how good you are with people, socializing. And when I heard that, I was like, yeah, actually I am. And my mentality from the start of the year, obviously it's changed a lot, but I think one thing that hasn't changed enough is still doubting myself, still doubting whether my communication skills are good enough. Now, what is the metric for good enough? And I realized that the metric I've been using is just comparing myself to other people who are on their own journey. And you can't catch yourself doing that. When you are comparing your skills to somebody else's skills, especially to do with communication, it doesn't work, because you're both on your own race. The way that they talk is from their unique experiences throughout life. The way they make sounds is the way they make sounds. You cannot. So let's say this guy called Tom. Compare myself to Tom, the way that he speaks, the way that he talks, and all that. If I'm comparing myself to Tom, it's just not going to work, because how am I going to be a better Tom than Tom? Tom is always going to be the best Tom. I'm never going to be a better Tom. I'm never going to be the best at how he talks. So you can only like judge yourself based on where you were and where you're going to. You know, you can look at people that you admire. That's a really good thing to do, and see what sort of features they have. But don't try to be them. Try to encapsulate you as well. And when I reflected on what I've done this year, and I got that message, and I started to be like, hang on a second, why the fuck am I doubting myself? Because this is still a thing when I'm having conversations. I had a conversation just today about some birds with a guy who was in a nature hide, where you basically get to look at nature with your binoculars. And I was having a conversation with him, and I was doubting myself, and it showed in the conversation, and I wasn't how I wanted to be. And yeah, so it's still affecting me. But when I realised that I have literally put more work in, done more than easily 99% of the entire population of people who have made an effort towards their communication skills. I've done more than all of those people. So I think it's probably fucking time to stop doubting my communication skills. You know, doubt is never good. You know, you can always improve, always get better, always. But don't fucking doubt my communication skills. Don't down them. Don't think of them as bad. Think of them as good. Think of them as great. And I need to stop comparing them to other people, because when you're doing that, it literally doesn't allow you to fully use all of your skills, because you're constantly doubting yourself. You're comparing yourself in the conversation to this other person, this other dude, this other girl, and you're like, oh, what am I doing wrong? How did I be better at what they're doing than them? So you just have to do your thing and what you've learned. And if you've put lots of practice in, have that in your mind. Have how many fucking repetitions you've done and where you've come from in your mind to fuel you, to remember how hard you've worked, to remember how good you may be. I guess for me, one of the biggest insecurities I've had in my life is being bad at communication skills, is not being able to hold a conversation sometimes. So to just actually finally just be like, you know what, I'm good at conversations. I have good communication skills. I can make good conversation. I can hold a conversation. I can guide a conversation. I can do all of that. Just back yourself and just be like, I'm good at that. I'm good. Just to say to yourself, you are good. Even now, I can feel my nervous system is relaxing. I'm not like stressed out, like thinking like, oh, how do I do this and like that and like this and like that. It's like, I'm good. So just take the action and believe that you're fucking good, baby. If you've put in the work, don't doubt yourself. Know that you've put in that work. Know how many times you've like made an amazing connection, or you know, that sort of thing, and just be like, yeah, man, I'm good. So hope that helps, and I'll see you in the next one. Adios.